witchcraft. You don't leave a husband because of cheating. Because cheating, we're going back to what we do.
We don't talk
But
about it.
yeah,
Yeah. Hi, beautiful people.
Hello guys,
Welcome to She Speaks Sacred.
where her voice becomes a sacred right.
She Speaks.
We listen.
Spirit moves. I'm Wambui Mukunda.
And I am Zanele. Today, guys, we want to talk about healing generational traumas. I think all of us come from homes, places, communities where we have been traumatized in some way or the other. It might not be from, your parents, from your siblings, or from people close to you, but from things that you have seen within your community and your upbringing. Sometimes we are affected by things that we have nothing to do with. And sometimes our characters are molded by the situations, the places that we are. Yeah, sometimes we are who we are because of where we come from. It's not even where you come from. It's the kind of environment that you grew in. For example, you hear somebody saying, "I know somebody who has grown from the village or from a slum just by their character," and there's a trauma in that, and there's an influence in that person becoming who they are or what they end up being in the future. For example, you find somebody learning how to steal from a very, very young age, and they grow up to be a very violent person. And it's unfortunate when they even get married because they now become very violent partners, very aggressive, abusive human beings. And those are generational traumas. You might look back and say, maybe that experience that this kid had when he was 5, 6 years old is what has made him to become. Do you have any examples of generational traumas that you have seen within your environment and something that you look back and think, maybe that kid or maybe even myself, this is the reason I've come to be who I am, or this is the reason this kid has turned out to be the way they are because of that?
Sometimes they mention it lightly, like father like son, ama like mother, like daughter like mother. But it's just to say that some of these things, some of these characters that we have within us, we've taken them from our parents, who are parents who took them from their parents, and it's been a cycle that has been happening over and over again. One of the things that happens, especially in our Kikuyu culture, there are things that are common and that have been happening from one generation to another. That is alcoholism and single motherhood. That's something that has been happening over and over from one generation to another. And at the end of it all, we are here online discussing and making a lot of noise why this is happening, but we're not going to the root cause of these problems. We're not going to see where did these generational traumas, generational patterns, where did they start, and what can we do to make sure that we do not push them to the next generation to come. We do not want the same problem of alcoholism getting to the next generation. How do we break that? We do not want where people are not getting married. There are people who are statistics are showing that people are getting married less and less and less with this generation and the generations to come. Where do we bring back marriage? Where do we bring back? How do we bring back family? How do we bring back community values that will make sure that the generations to come, they are well brought up, they are well coordinated, the way they're doing their things, they're doing them to ensure that they are living cohesively with everyone. Yeah.
And you look at marriage, for example, the reason a lot of young women nowadays, I saw a video of a young girl just today in the morning. She was just saying, the way I'm now scared of getting married and just the institution of marriage, just by seeing what is currently trending in Kenya, she was saying that this is not even me seeing it from my own family setup. This is me seeing it from social media. And I'm just looking and saying, do I want to be a part of such a setup in the future? Do I want to put myself under such harm, under such abuse, under such, it's not a good environment even for the kids that we are raising. So when you're saying the institution of marriage is starting to decrease day by day, it's because of what we're experiencing. And it's very unfortunate or fortunate for us because social media is exposing a lot of these things. During our parents and our great grandparents' generation, my parents were around 60 when they died, 63, 62. So they are still part of that generation that would cover up things, that would make sure that you don't just leave your husband because of small things. In my culture, we say, don't leave your husband, you don't chase out a woman from the marriage unless they have committed witchcraft. You don't leave a husband because of cheating. Because, cheating, we're going back to what we do on
We
people's
don't talk
part.
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't leave your husband
Mm.
because of cheating. There's no cheating in African culture. So we don't look at what these things do to these women, to these men. For example, if it's witchcraft and that's a generational trauma.
Yeah.
You find that women that are practicing witchcraft or men that are practicing witchcraft, they are getting it from a lineage that has witches in their families. And it's a trauma that they've grown into, finding themselves now repeating it. Men that cheat, you find that they come from a generation or a home that doesn't value women.
Mm.
For them, it's not cheating, it's expanding their territory. Neglecting your children, that's a generation of men that don't care about their family, no values, no nothing. They just don't care. Once I give you a child, you take care of that child. I don't
Yeah.
care. So how do we heal this trauma, this generational trauma, so that we have a high value society, like you're saying,
Mm.
where women will feel loved, will feel
Yeah.
appreciated, taken care of, protected by their men, and men will feel respected, will feel, manly, will feel the masculine, because men have ego. They
Yes.
want to be given respect so that they can boost their egos. How do you go back to such value? Is it too late for our generation to do that? Do we give up? What do we do? What is the way forward?
I think we can only work
Mhm.
on ourselves as
Mhm.
individual, so
Mm.
that it also reflects on the community.
Mhm.
So you come and identify, me as one boy, I have this problem and this
Mm.
problem. I'm easily bored staying with someone for a long time.
Mhm.
I'm easily angered. How do I work on that?
Yeah.
Do I go to therapy? Do I start journaling? Do I start meditating?
Mhm.
And some of these things are spiritual. So we also need to go back to African spirituality,
Yeah.
where we identify, because these issues are not new. They have always existed,
Mm.
but because in the previous generations they knew how to handle these issues,
Mm.
it was not so common. So we
Mhm.
need to go back and identify. My great grandmother, when she went through such a problem, how did she resolve that? And
Mhm.
also, we also need to modernize it so that it also applies to us, because the
Mm.
generations that we are at right now, it's totally different from how our great grandparents lived. It's totally different. So we also need to modernize it in a way it also works for us. But I would say, work on yourself as an individual. Journal, meditate, go for therapy, talk to people with your experiences, create a community like the community we are creating on Telegram, where we want to create people of like-minded mind,
Mhm.
where we'll be able to share our experiences, where we
Mm.
can be able to assist each other, grow each
Empower each
other,
other. Yeah.
empower each other.
Mm.
I think we also need to bring back the concept of community and helping each other
Yeah.
from a good heart. Because first of all, you may create a community, but that community, you
Mhm.
might find there are witches, there are people who have bad energy, bad
Mm.
vibes, and it will
Mm.
not, at the end of the day,
Mm.
you're not going to resolve the traumas
Yeah.
that you're experiencing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For our great grandparents, for them, the way they dealt with trauma was to persevere. And we are living in a modern day society, a modern day age, where perseverance is not even the word to say to a woman.
Yeah.
And they always tell men that, for you to find, or for you to attract good women, a high value woman, work on yourself. But do we empower women in such a way that we teach them, we empower them into saying, for you to find a high value man, this is what you have to do. And in our community on Telegram, we need to start thinking into ways, in which, because you always hear men should have money, build yourself, work on your health, work on your environment, just build yourself, and that high value woman will come to
To
you,
you. Yeah.
will bring themselves. But what about us women? How do we attract high value men? Because you can't just say, I'll wait for this man to build himself, and then I'll just now start following that man. How do I attract such same energy so that I find myself also with a person that is of the same standard as I am? And we need you in that Telegram group, because we need to be
Yes.
discussing these things further. This is short time, this is a limited time we have here on camera,
Yeah.
but we need a community where we can grow each other, empower each other. In olden day society, our parents used to tell us, what a man wants is just respect, give him children, take care of him. That would be it. But what we are seeing nowadays, women doing the same thing,
Yeah.
but they are not getting the same in return. So
Mhm.
how do you attract high value men as women? And for men, we already know. Let us build each other. Let us talk to each other. Let us empower each other, and hence a powerful society that our children will look back and say our parents did well. They
Yeah.
brought back sanity into our
Mm.
culture, into
True.
our communities.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think we have a huge responsibility for those of us who are parents in
Mm,
ensuring that as we are bringing up this new generation, that we are bringing up children that are healed, first
mhm,
of all, so that we do not pass those traumas to them.
mm,
We also need to make sure that these children, we are bringing them up knowing what is required of them in society.
yeah.
Because at some point nowadays, people are growing up, and at the end of the day, you're wondering, what is my role in this
We don't
society?
know.
You do not know, because you were brought up in the Western way where you just needed to go study, get a job, and that's it. But now you have other responsibility to the society. You have other responsibility for your own self, to take care of yourself, to make sure that you are healed at heart, at mind, and at body. Yes.
Yeah, guys, let us know what you think about generational traumas. What is your trauma that you experienced as a child? Growing up and looking back, what is it that you think maybe shaped who you are? Is it for the positive? Is it for the worst? Let us have a conversation in the comment section down below. And please join our Telegram community. We are having a community of like-minded individuals who are of high value.
Yeah.
We regard ourselves highly and we know what we want in life. And we need you there because you need to empower yourself also and you need to pour into your cup so that you can be able to pour into others. So let us know what you think in the comment section and please support us by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.